importance of food safety in restaurants, but it's also something to keep in mind when you're at home. So we have some tips that might surprise you, but they will help make your kitchen safer. Registered dietitian Susan Watson is here from A Little Nutrition today. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And some great suggestions, some that were a little shocking to me, but I am so glad that I've learned a few things. So let's help our friends learn as well. Let's start with the rags and the dishcloths that we're using to clean and make the kitchen look good.
Yes, so most people don't know that your kitchen rags, whether it's a towel, a tea cloth, a sponge, or even your scrubby, you should clean those on a daily basis. A lot of the times they sit on the counter for a couple days, maybe weeks,
I'm guilty.
without being cleaned properly. So what's recommended is at the end of the day, once you're done all your cleaning, just take your dirty dish towels or used dish towels and throw them in the wash. If it's a sponge, in the wash or in the dishwasher where it has a high heat temperature to disinfect. So I put this directly in the dishwasher at the end of the day with all the other dishes and clean it daily.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Now, how about for the cutting boards that we're using often as well?
Right, so you wouldn't want to start cutting up your meat with one cutting board and then put your meat, say, in the stove and then start cutting up your vegetables. It's not a food safe way. So it's best to, cut up your perishables or the contaminating foods like chicken on one cutting board and then use a different one for your vegetables or other food items.
Absolutely. Make sure that you just discard that one or put it in the wash right away, and
absolutely.
Then also
in the sink, in the dishwasher. Same with all the knives. You wouldn't want to cut up your chicken and then cut up your vegetables with that same knife.
For sure. Now, how about fridge storage and with things like eggs or different dairy? Where should we be placing those?
Well, first of all, you want to make sure your fridge is at the right temperature, so 4 degrees Celsius. You can check it. If it doesn't have a thermometer, you can get a temperature gauge and put it in your fridge just to double check. But what we find is at the door of the fridge, the temperature doesn't stay the same. So you want to keep perishables like eggs or milk inside the fridge, not on your door. And even a lot of the new style fridges don't have a place to put the eggs. The old style will have where you can put the eggs. That's long gone.
Okay, so making sure that we're really being attentive to the placement also of the food that we're leaving outside the fridge for periods of time.
Yes, so a lot of times people will take meat out of the freezer to defrost and leave it on the counter, and there's a couple of reasons why that's not a good idea. One, you could forget about it and it will completely thaw, and then that time from when it's thawed to when it starts to spoil, you miss it, and then you don't know about your food. So it's not a good idea for that reason, and it starts to heat up and bacteria can grow. So it's recommended to thaw your meat inside the fridge. I recommend putting it in a bowl. Some people just put it on a plate, but then you want to put it in the bottom shelf of your fridge in case any juices tend to drip, then you're not cross-contaminating your food.
Okay, keep that in mind. Now, if we're working with food or around food, what is absolutely necessary that we have?
Well, if you're working with food with the public, you want to have your Manitoba Food Handler Certificate. And you can get that through Manitoba Health, or you can take our online course at Fundamentals of Food Safety, and then you can write the handler's exam with us at A Little Nutrition.
Okay, and that's really important because a lot of these things we use, we know, but it's good to be sure to make sure that yourself and the people that you're feeding
even if you don't work in a job position, it's good to have that food safety background because a lot of people probably didn't know this.
Yes, myself included. So, Susan Watson, thank you so much for coming in from A Little Nutrition. And if we want more information, just remind us of where we can go online to find that.
For the food safety, fundamentals of foodsafety.com.
Okay, really appreciate it.